Hello, happy International Widows Day. Who of you out there knew that that's what today was? I did not know until 2013 when I became a widow. So I wanted to do a little nod out there to widows around the world and to take a moment to talk about some things that have come up. So I've gotten some feedback, which at first I was like, "Meh." And then, thinking about it, Captain Grief, The High Flying Adventures of Captain Grief, the memoir that I published last June 2024, well, she has a very specific niche. And it's come to my attention that if you did not follow my blog, if you have never read the book, if you've never heard me speaking on a podcast about it, if you never saw me perform, this may not make a whole lot of sense to you. Well, I wanted to put it into some context, and that's why I'm going to call it Happy International Widows Day / Kelly's Not Crazy. So, when I became a widow, I was very angry. I was 34. I had a 1.5-year-old child, and it wasn't just that my partner, Kara, passed away. It was that Kara had breathed in some mold called blastomycosis. It's a toxic mold, which has a 3-month incubation period. So Kara breathed this stuff in, and it was in her system for 3 months, and pretty much to that day where I think she breathed it in, that's when she got sick, and we thought it was pneumonia. She had pneumonia all the time. She had a compromised respiratory system, so we thought it was the regular pneumonia or the regular bronchitis. And it went on for about 2.5 weeks, and she was perfectly healthy. Other than that, she had just had a workup by the doctor. She was fine. And then the symptoms started showing up, which we thought we recognized. Well, we did. I mean, it was pneumonia, but it was just from something different. I sent her to the hospital, and within 24 hours, she had passed away. And we did not know how she had died, why she had died, until after the autopsy. I was mad. Like, how can the universe do this to me? I was mad. Especially knowing that even if they had known what it was, it wouldn't have made any difference because there was no detecting it until she started to show symptoms. And I was a 34-year-old widow with a very young child that hadn't even verbalized yet. And things just kept piling on. The life insurance was not in my name. We had not written a will. My life fell a fucking apart. Dealing with my wife's death was the most horrible, upset challenge of my life. But what I am glad about is that I already had something in my pocket to help me cope, and that was being a writer. My dad died in was 1990. 1997. I was only 19. He was 52. And I think that's when I really started writing what was memoir. And when I met my writing coach around the same time that I met Kara, that's when I really found my voice as a memoirist, as a poet. But Kara's death was not just write a poem. It was not just write a story. It was, I need something to hold me in a container to make sure that nobody gets hurt. I needed somewhere to be away from my child, where I could swear, where I could throw things, where I could break things, where I could let out all of the grief and the suffering and the absolute rage and all of the things that go along. And I didn't have to apologize or explain the way that I felt. And I stumbled upon my superhero alter ego by accident, by happy accident. I think there were a lot of things that were in place in my life that ended up being probably not accidental, happy accidents. One, being a writer, and two, having a writing coach, Chris K. Fraser from Firefly Creative Writing, being in her posse made it a lot easier, because she put together Friday night dinners for me for quite some time, and she offered me a free blog writing workshop. So I thought, I need something to focus on that's the grief, but I need a place to focus on my grief, not my son's grief, not her parents' grief, not her siblings' grief, not her friends' grief, not my friend's grief, just me sorting out how I was going to survive. So I thought, I'll write a sappy poetry blog. I've already written a lot of stuff, but that changed in the second that Chris offered us some prompts, and one of which was create a fictional character and write with her. And that did it for me. I mean, I've done that before. I created Captain Fibromyalgia with the person that originally illustrated Captain Grief for me. So looming large in my mind was just, I need a superhero. I need somebody who can break down walls. I need somebody who can not just encourage me, but downright insist that I be unapologetic about my grief, that I take care of myself, that I do whatever it was I needed to do away from my son so that I could, pack up the day and parent. And she was it. She is, well, if you ever watched one of the videos of me playing her, because she is in fact a character, she's kind of like Pokeroo, if you know who I'm talking about. People have said, oh, I never see you and Captain Grief in the at the same appearances. Funny that, because she's me playing a character that has given herself permission to be the only thing that matters just for a little bit. And she is rude and nasty and unorthodox and unreasonable, and she can have a crying fit whenever she wants, and she doesn't have to feel guilty about a thing. I needed to create a world where I could control some things, where I made the rules. So I took this snotty, bitchy character and I created a universe around her where I felt safe, where I felt I could inhabit all of those qualities, so I could give myself a little time where I wasn't feeling guilty for something, where I wasn't breaking my back to make other people feel comfortable, where I wasn't being polite about my grief or about other people's feelings. It could just be about me dealing with mine. And honestly, the most important thing about her was that she made room for laughter. Because if you know anything about Kara, her adage was, you always have the choice to laugh. She taught me that. She taught me to choose whom and what I put my energy into, because I only had so much of it. I was a chronically ill, single mom who had just lost her partner. There were a lot of ways that I maybe couldn't have survived this, but I did. I decided, because this is something that you have to decide. Grief is something where no one else can make you survive. No one else can make you get through something. You can ask for help. You can take help, but you are the one who has to decide it's important enough to facilitate your own survival. That's why I needed a superhero. This is the way I dealt with my grief. And for all of the ways that people cringe when they hear my story, or fall, or feel bad for me, I'm lucky. I am lucky to live in Canada and to have been able to love who I loved in relative safety. I am lucky that I was able to get married to the person that I loved, to have a child with the person that I love. And I was lucky that I could create a space in the world for something like this to help other people who are dealing with loss. This is the way I show up in the world. This is how I serve. It's very, very important to me, not just to encourage other people to write and be creative, but to write their own stories and use creativity to change whatever form of suffering is happening, and to, in some way, make it redeeming, make it beautiful. Because otherwise you can't look at it. I can look at this. I am proud of this. And I am proud that it has touched the amount of people that it has. At book launches, my friends, my family, my clients, and now a whole new group of people at Camp Widow, new people that I met at my latest book launch, which I will do another video about that later. It was great. It's just so worth it to me, for me to stand up and say, you realize I'm not the only one, right? I looked up the statistic when I was widowed, and I'm sure it's much more now after the pandemic and the escalations of violence in the world. I'm sure many more people have lost their partners. But at the time, it was an American statistic that I looked up, and I don't know the Canadian one. I'll have to put that on the screen. In the States, it was 12 million. 12 million people have gone through the experience of losing their partner. And in many places of the world, it has been way more horrifying a thing to go through than what I did. And that is why the 23rd of June is the International Widows' Day. And I found out about this, as I said, in 2013 and wrote a post about it, because originally this book was a blog that I started, There's a picture of Captain Grief surfing down Mount Vesuvius after she awakened it. Silly girl. Well, you learn something new every day. That's what I said when I learned about International Widows' Day, which occurs every year on June 23rd. And today could be a learning day for you too, if you haven't already heard. This global United Nations observance has been celebrated since 2011. It was created by Raj Lumba of the Lumba Foundation, which was established in 1997. The year my dad died. The date for International Widows' Day was chosen because the founder's mother became a widow, June 23rd, 1954. This day was also created in recognition of the hardships that many widows worldwide experience when their partners die. Because, of course, obviously, everyone who loses their partner suffers, widows and widowers alike. The queer community, widows and widowers, have more of a struggle because they have a type of disenfranchised grief where if the world doesn't accept your partner based on your gender or your orientation, they're not going to accept that you have a right to grieve the loss of that person. So that makes it harder. But being a woman in particular places of the world, you are already vulnerable. You are already at risk. You are already akin to property. And you lose the one protection that you have in the world. It's hard. So, I'm going to keep going. They deal with poverty, serious illness, little or no acknowledgement or care from the government, financial hardship, social injustice, crime, public shame, and everything that sucks. In some countries, there's even a superstition that widows are bad luck. Sometimes crimes are committed against them and their families, or even by their families. I may not feel lucky to be a widow, but I do feel lucky to be one in Canada. Not only is my marriage valid, like any heterosexual marriage, but I also have access to government assistance and social programming. When Captain Grief found out about how widows are sometimes treated, she got pretty pissed. So before she destroyed something on behalf of widows of the world, or lit something on fire with the laser beams from her eyes, I told her something important. Anyone can be a superhero and donate to a good cause at www.thelumbafoundation.org, or send the widow a card, some chocolates, a tiara. Life is too short not to wear a tiara. Captain Grief and I also came up with a list of activities anyone can do to celebrate being a widow. Donating, helping other widows. Yes, absolutely. This is how I am trying to show up for my widow friends. With this list of things that you can do to acknowledge the day and yourself. Number 1, get up in the morning with a soundtrack. With a toothbrush, curling iron, or spatula in hand, prance around the house in your pajamas singing, "I Will Survive." 2, Do something you've never done before. It could be as simple as going for a walk in a different neighborhood, trying a recipe from one of those magazines on your bookshelf, or enrolling in the Rough and Tumble Rodeo Clown Academy. Number 3, get crafty. We all have art supplies in our houses, even if only macaroni and glue. Create a noodle collage with glitter, sparkles, feathers, and an old picture frame. Put a photo of your spouse in it, and then imagine him/her/them wincing at the new adornments. Oh, I could just see Kara's face if I did it. Let me out! It's too girly in here. Sorry. This is serious. Plant something. Whether it's that tomato plant you wanted, a flat of impatience, that bouquet of flowers in a vase, or your ass on the couch to watch a movie. Number 5, clean out the fill in the blank. Just pick something. The dreaded partner's side of the closet, under the bathroom sink, the garage, or the lint trap in the dryer. In the last case, sorry. It's been a while since I've read this passage. Or the lint trap in the dryer. In the last case, donate your fluff to a nice mouse house near you. Widowed mice are easy to spot. They look much more depressed than their squeaky counterparts. Number 6, invite your pals over for pizza and a pillow fight. You know you want to. You might braid each other's hair, do facials and pedicures, or haul out the old truth or dare routine, depending on how far your friends will go to make this Widow's Day a total sparkle fest. 7, road trip. Pack light, get out the map, throw on the Indigirls, and get out of town in style. Number 8, make a sign. One that says International Widow's Day with a big smiley face, and tape it to the back of your car or house or waiter at dinner. Make another sign that says Widows Rock and attach it to the other side of the car or waiter. Be messy and proud. Widows of the world, throw on your sequins and unite. Life is too short to sit out. It's true. I know it's harder for those of us who, well, all of that is all hard. It's all hard. But I think sometimes when you're younger, when you've lost your partner at such a young age, it's kind of hard to know where you fit socially. It becomes awkward because everybody's in pain, and some do not have the experience to deal with it, can't deal with it, and it makes you feel like you're kind of a black hole wherever you go. So find the people that get it. Spend time with them, whether they are a loss ally or someone who has gone through their own loss. It's different when you're talking to someone like that. So I'm going to cut this short. I'm going to say happy International Widow's Day to all of my friends out there who are widowed, especially the ones that I have just met at Camp Widow. And enjoy something today. Enjoy something today. You deserve it. After having gone through what you've gone through, you need to acknowledge the work that you have done to be okay. All right? Sending my love out. There will be videos to follow. Stay tuned because I will be offering a narrative healing for your journey of loss workshop series this summer. And as soon as I get it up on my website, you can start to sign up. So, love to everyone, and I will see you later. Bye.